Welcome to KNOXX We Trust, everybody. I'm your host, KNOXX One. Remember this?
As the mayor of the city of New York, I don't, weigh into immigration issues, border issues. I have to provide services for families that are here, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what our responsibility as a city. I'm proud that this is a right to shelter state. I'm proud that this is a right to shelter state. I'm proud that this is a right to shelter state.
Yeah, so now let's get into this article from the Daily Mail. Goes like this. NYC Mayor Eric Adams says migrant crisis could cost the city $12 billion as more are bused to the Roosevelt Hotel from Texas, as he calls on Biden to declare state of emergency. Mayor Eric Adams called on President Joe Biden to declare a state of emergency in the state in a news conference on Wednesday. He said he expects the city to spend nearly $12 billion with a B dollars trying to house the thousands of migrants who have already arrived in New York City. More were seen being bussed into the Big Apple on Wednesday morning. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says the city will spend $12 billion by 2025 to provide housing and services for the flood of migrants arriving in the cities by buses as the city scrambles to provide shelter. I quote him now. "We are facing an unprecedented state of emergency," Adams declared, again demanding the feds provide more support. "The immigration system in this country is broken. It has been broken for decades. Today, New York City has been left to pick up the pieces," Adams said. This guy's got a lot, he's got a lot of cojones, let me tell you. But let's finish the article. The Democratic mayor has been slammed for his lack of response to the migrant crisis currently afflicting New York City, as he has continued to blame the lack of federal support. Adams said the city spends more than $9 million per day to house, feed, and support the asylum seekers. Even more are arriving weekly, with buses seen arriving Wednesday morning at the Roosevelt Hotel to drop off more migrants for processing. Listen, get on the phone, reach out to Martha's Vineyard. They are very skilled at very quickly and efficiently rerouting buses that are packed with illegal immigrants trying to invade our cities and our states. The hotel had become the hotbed of the migrant crisis in the United States last week, when hundreds were forced to sleep on the sidewalk in the brutal heat as they awaited processing. Listen, I'm not inhumane. I don't think anybody should be sleeping outside in this brutal heat, but it's very hard for me to care about individuals that 9 million taxpayer dollars a day are going towards housing and feeding, when we can't do that for our own citizens. We can't do that for our own homeless who need help. We can't do that for our disabled and elderly population who need health care. But we can do that. We can create a crisis and a burden and plop it onto New York City. But just ask Eric. He's all about that. Let him know about New York. What's New York, baby? New York is a what, Eric?
We have a brand. New York has a brand. And when people see it, it means something.
Let's go over to this article real quick. This was from a couple of weeks back, maybe about a week and a half ago, sometime 2 weeks ago, the most. Listen to this.
As the number of asylum seekers in our care surpasses 56,200 today, we are announcing a new humanitarian relief center to serve adults seeking asylum. In partnership with New York State, the city will soon construct and open a humanitarian relief center that will serve up to 1,000 adult men seeking shelter in the.
That's all you needed to hear. You see how she changed it from adults to adult men, 1,000 adult men this facility is going to house. We are currently dealing with, here's the real number, over 93,200 migrants have arrived in the Big Apple since the spring of 2022. The number she just quoted was now upwards of 56,200 migrants are staying at the various city-run shelters. Now, this shelter that they're going to build happens to be right at this location. Where is this? Well, this is Queens, and this is, I will tell you right now, the state offered up the space for the mega shelter and will reimburse New York City for the cost. I am sure they will. For the cost to construct, maintain, and staff the site. Woohoo! Watch them leverage the "we're creating jobs" line. Not worth it at all. Here we go. Said Ann Williams Issam, who you just saw speaking, the deputy mayor of Human Health Service Department, adding, the city has already forked over $1.5 billion on the ongoing crisis. So do you see what this is? This is just a laundering scheme. They just keep putting in more money, they know it isn't going to resolve the issue. It couldn't possibly. Housing right across the street from a psychiatric institution, because here we go, right? Where is it? Where is it at? The state will continue to partner closely with the city to provide resources and address the situation, said Hochul spokeswoman Maggie Haley, whatever. Okay, so the Creedmoor Migrant Facility, which is expected to be up and running, okay, so that's where it's going to be, right across the street from this Creedmoor Psychiatric Center in Queens, whom, I might add, so here we go. Here we go. A Queens lawmaker, however, was quick to rip the latest migrant encampment, claiming its placement would only impact food delivery service for senior citizens that's located on the same grounds as Creedmoor. So, right, like I said earlier, we can't spend $9 million a day to take care of our senior citizens or our homeless or our disabled. We can't do that. That's not even fathomable to these people. But to inconvenience them, they sure will. And that's not all they plan to do. Remember when Eric Adams proposed this little gem?
It is my vision to take the next step to this, to go to the faith-based locales, and then move to private residents. There are residents who are suffering right now because of economic challenges. They have spare rooms, they have locales, and if we can find a way to get over the 30-day rule and other rules that government has in its place, we can take that $4.2 billion, 4.3 even maybe now, that we potentially would have to spend, and we can put it back in the pockets of everyday New Yorkers.
Yeah, so you see that, right? Look, what everybody needs to understand is these individuals are not asylum seekers, people who are political prisoners or being persecuted for their religious beliefs. That isn't what any of this is. About 85, and I'm being generous here in my opinion, about 85% of these undocumented illegal immigrants that literally are invading this country, because that is what's happening through that southern border. You don't know where they're coming from. It's not exclusively limited to just South America or any of those countries down there. They're coming from all over the world. And it isn't the good quality folk. They are the undesirables of these countries. The people that live, like I said, in squalor, the very, very poor. And the other demographic are the criminal element of those countries. They are looking to escape, and they're criminals. They're going to be criminals there, and they want to come to become criminals here. Okay? This can't continue. When Mayor Adams offers nonsense, like, did you see that last piece that I just put into the clip, in the little clip in the video, where he's offering, you know what he's offering? You know what I heard there? He wants to pay our low-income families, our poor people. He wants to incentivize them to allow illegal immigrants to come and squat, okay? And squat in their apartments. Because who else is going to want this handout? I'm certainly not. I don't want anybody living in my apartment that isn't my family or in my house or in my home. But people who need a little money, who are looking for, like I said, we need money for health care for our elderly. We have our own homeless crisis to deal with. These people don't get no help. If you want to come into this country, you must do it through the legal parameters that are available. And we only want in this country quality individuals that are going to contribute to making this country wonderful and great. What it used to be and what I know it can still be. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Thank you guys for joining me. If you liked what you heard today, please like, subscribe, show the kids some love. You can follow me at Dean Knox on Twitter. Pretty good, pretty neat, everyone. Peace. You guys have a good night. One.